I'm recording this video with a lot of love and dedication to the woman who is still dimming her light in order to be seen. To the woman that is working endless hours so that she can prove she's worthy. To the woman who continues to sit still in a relationship where she is not appreciated, she's not cherished, and she's not worshipped because she believes the longer she stays, the more chances she has of being noticed. To the woman who is always there for everybody around her, but rarely there for herself. Because that woman used to be me, but I made the switch. I allowed myself to not dim my light any longer, so that I am accepted, seen, validated, being related to. A few years ago, I took the decision to alter my entire life. And I promise you, this wasn't an easy decision. I didn't just wake up one day feeling all amazing, beautiful, thinking, Antonia, it's time you manifest your dream life. It didn't happen like this. In fact, it happened in a very difficult time of my life. My whole life, every aspect of my life, personal, financial, career-wise, love-wise, everything was falling apart. And that is when the transformation happens for most of us. It happens when we get cheated on, we get broken up with, when we lose a family member of sudden death, or we get to leave our career for whatever reasons, or we lose our house, or we are being diagnosed with a disease of some sort. It's very rarely that we wake up one day and we decide, oh, today feels like an amazing day for manifesting, so why don't I do it? And so if this video resonates with you, there is going to be a lot of truth that I'm going to share with you, but not the type of truth that is feeding your delusions. It's the truth that you need to hear to awaken something within you. Because the truth is hardly ever comforting. The truth is shocking, but deep inside, it resonates with us. And so deciding to change who I was required a lot of realizations, which required holding myself accountable. And if I have to be honest, that was probably the first and the most difficult part. Holding yourself accountable for your actions, for your choices and your decisions. When your friends are telling you, oh, don't cry, honey, it's his loss, instead of allowing yourself to believe in these delusions, it's taking the accountability and understanding that relationships and the partners that we attract mirror the energy that we feel about ourselves. And so if we have the fear of being seen, that partner we attract is hardly ever going to see us, because we have attracted them so that they can mirror that energy at us, for us to wake up and realize that, hey, it's time you see yourself. It's time you see how special you are. It's time you see everything about you that you want this other person to see. And so when you have to admit to yourself that you quite frankly have been living a delusional life where you've been sitting still and just waiting on divine timing for things to happen, but when you realize that actually you are the divine timing and your own energy and your frequency is the divine timing and the way things align, that can come as a huge slap. But here is the moment where you're not allowed to feel like a victim, because many fall into that state. And I was that close to becoming a victim of my own story. But it's that voice within me, and it's that feeling of telling me, you have been a victim of your own circumstances for 20 years. It's time you wake up. And so I did. And it all started with pulling my energy towards me. I was outsourcing my energy everywhere. In a career that wasn't for me, but I just wanted to prove myself. In a relationship where I wasn't being seen, but I was continuing to give for myself because I really wanted to be seen. I knew I carry so much divinity and I wanted that man to see it, but I wasn't seeing it consciously. I knew it was deep there within me, but I wasn't truly diving into it and expanding it. And so taking my energy inwards ruffled a lot of feathers. And suddenly, from the people pleaser, I became the self-centered woman. The woman who has become selfish. She's changed. Who does she think she is? And that was probably the second hurdle. Not allowing the external opinions to influence and redirect you from your newly started journey. Because I promise you this journey of getting to know yourself, of your feminine energy, your healing journey, you choose whatever you name you like for it, is the path to self-liberation. It's the path to self-acceptance, self-awareness, self-expression, and that is where you find and discover your own abundance. But it's not an easy path. Yes, it's divinely guided. Yes, it's abundant, but it doesn't fall on your lap just because you've said, I want to change, I want to embrace my feminine energy. The way you have to work on it, because we all know hard work pays off, but when it comes to this, it's not physical hard work. You don't spend hours and hours digging holes. The hard work you do is here. The first thing is you really have to work on your mindset. And the way you work on your mindset is you need to shut it down. You need to shut it off. You need to allow your mind to step back and allow your heart and your womb channel to guide you and lead you through. Because this is what the feminine energy journey is about. It's about discovering your inner goddess through your intuition and embracing your inner wisdom. And the way you do that is when you connect with the version of you that's always been there, but you have not allowed her to come to the surface. And it's not your fault. You didn't allow her and you suppressed her because that's how you were taught to be a good girl, be nice, don't run, sit here, don't touch this, don't touch that, right? All these commands, they captivated your feminine energy. They made your feminine energy be caged in so you can wear a suit, metaphorically speaking, of a strict behavior, which is more of a masculine approach. But a woman operating from her masculine energy is not a boss girl, for sure. That's not what it is. A woman operating from her masculine energy is a woman deprived from creativity, self-expression, compassion, softness, sensuality. Should I keep listing more? And so the way you were raised, the way you were taught is not your fault. But you are a grown-up woman now, and you have the opportunity to take the lead of your life and bring your feminine energy to the surface, to let her speak, to let her express, to let her create, because the divine brought you here as a woman. And that is your gift, to create your world through your imagination, to create it through your senses, to use your feminine energy archetypes of playfulness, of sensuality, of justice, of groundness, to be you. And it all comes down to creating a sacred temple in your body for your inner goddess, where she feels home, where she feels safe to be, to feel, to expand, to grow, to create, to lead. That is your responsibility. And it begins with you understanding that it's not about doing, it's about being. That's the difference. When I meet women, I meet them at a place where the question is Antonia, how can I embody my feminine energy? What is the best practice for me? And so what I see in that question, what I read in that question is, what can I, quote unquote, do so I can connect with my feminine energy? And my response is always the same. The feminine energy journey is not about doing, it's about being you, being yourself. And so the practice that you're searching for is allowing yourself to be you, but not the you that is defined by your background, by your career history, by your marital status. No, the you that is defined by what inspires you, what makes you the most creative, how do you like to feel things around you, right? So that is the you that we're talking about. That is the feminine energy you. And it comes down to removing the filters, or in other words, your initial programming, your behavioral patterns, so that you can allow your inner goddess to come through. It's about allowing. There isn't a physical practice of allowing. It's whether you allow or you don't. And the reason why we don't allow is because if we allow something, we know that there is going to be a receiving at the end. And more often than not, we are not open to the receiving. And so if I allow myself to be vulnerable, there is a receiving at the end. How is my vulnerability going to be received by others? So if I'm sitting in a conversation with you and I am being incredibly vulnerable and open and honest with what I think or how I feel of my position in this scenario, you will have to receive that energy in a certain way. And if I am not sure what your reaction at the end and what your response will be in the end, I may be hesitant to be vulnerable, to allow myself to open up vulnerably, because I cannot predict your reaction. Or in other words, I don't know how you are going to receive me, and how you receive me directs what your reaction is going to be towards me, which I'm going to have to receive then. So do you see where it's all coming from and how it's all related? But what we need to address here is that being your most raw self is what makes us magnetic, what makes us real, what makes us authentic in the way we are, the topics we choose to discuss, the reactions and responses we give. It's the way we connect with others. Because before humans, we're spiritual beings. We're energetic beings. And feminine energy is about the feminine aspect of our being, of our energy. And so allowing doesn't need a practice. It needs permission. And that permission comes from you. Because when you allow yourself to receive, you allow yourself to be. And when you are being your true self, you magnetically attract and draw towards you people, circumstances, situations of the same vibration as you. Or in other words, you attract your people, your situations, your conditions. And that is when things feel aligned. That is when things feel natural. And you deserve this. And you can do this. I would love to know how this video resonates with you. If this is something that you've experienced yourself, or maybe that's something that you're currently working on, or maybe that is something that you have been feeling somewhere in the distance, but this was the video that you needed, so you finally stopped dimming your light. Let me know in the comments. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.